galaxy is burning. Brother fights brother, and treason splits the Imperium of man. This is the Age of Darkness. Welcome to the Remembrancers Retreat, coming to you from within the depths of the Vengeful Spirit.
Hello and welcome to another episode of the Remembrancers Retreat, a Horus Heresy podcast. My name is Jesse. I am a Dark Angels player. I am here. I am introducing myself for some reason. I don't know why, but we're trying something a little bit different here today. We got a slideshow, so we're going to try this out. Just so for folks in YouTube style. World, again, my name is Jesse, and yeah, we've been doing this for a while. We just haven't done a slideshow with it.
Never.
Michael, go.
I play Imperial Fists, I guess.
Austin, go.
Hey, I play Space Wolves and every mortal on Terra and mostly off of it, I guess, at this point. Who knows?
Yeah, well, there we go.
At this point, there aren't a whole lot of mortal armies on Terra. Like, there are a couple, but...
I mean, there's piles. They're just mostly having a bad time.
I feel like they're mostly dead.
I mean, if you want to be a pessimist about it, yeah, they are mostly dead at this point.
Well, yeah, so the three of us, we're here today. There's several... there's a large cast of characters of ourselves here down in Richmond, Virginia, who just... been recording this podcast for a while, so if this is your first time, welcome. Tonight we are going to go over a little more Siege of Cthonia action here. We're going to discuss the Decurion upgrades and also delve into the Infernus Abomination, aka the Traitor Assassin. So we're going to get digging into that here pretty soon, but first, as always, we like to thank our patrons. And let's see, our newest patron, I should say, is Legion Centurion Tier. Thank you very much, Logan Karsuski. And I'm sorry if I mispronounced that name, but I gave it my best shot. Thank you for becoming a Centurion. And as always, I'd like to thank all of our top tier Legion Flexomancers, Alex Self, Andrew N., Chap Landisar, Chris Kymick, Chris Mack, Daniel, Edvin Ullman, Real Snice, Rena the Fluth, and Variance Hammer. Thank you all to our patrons. And if you'd like to become a patron, go over to patreon.com/RR30K podcast. Choose a tier. It's a per episode thing. We try to put them out at least once a week or once every other week. We think it's fun. And you get to listen to these episodes a week early.
How long now? I don't even really want to do the math.
We've been doing this since 2017, nearly weekly. 2023 has been a bit of a struggle, but it's been fun. All right. Now, on to the 30K Heresy, new 30K News and Heresy Thursday Roundup. I should have proofreaded these slides before I started. Whatever.
That's fine.
It's cool.
We'll do it live. Fuck it.
That's right. So, today, there's a little article regarding the Legion Imperialis upcoming game, the Atheon Heavy Sentinel.
Yeah, look at that little guy. Or perhaps big guy? He looks like a hefty boy, that is for damn sure. And seems like an absolute delight. He is tiny and chunky, bigger than a normal Sentinel from all appearances. And doing wonderful things with what looks like missile launchers and then also... a multi-laser, which seems like a weird ask, but, you know, there it is, doing multi-lasery things.
I guess it gives it an anti-infantry weapon.
Yeah, like it's not... Like they're talking like it's out here doing crazy stuff, but it's still a Sentinel, right? Like it's still not trying to fight a main battle tank or a dreadnought or anything.
Well, I guess it depends what's in those missiles.
That's true. I guess if you had the right stuff, you could cause people problems with it, couldn't you?
Yeah. I think it's going to be exactly what, at least fluff-wise, Sentinels have always wanted to back them up. Something that's just got a little bit more punch.
That's true.
I can't get over how much those legs look just like the Armiger's legs.
Yeah.
That throws me off quite a bit. Not in a
shouldn't.
bad way. It's like it looks just like an Armiger. I'm looking over at my models. It's like, it looks just like the same thing. Like they heisted some information from the Mechanicum.
It looks real derpy in all the right ways.
Yeah, like that's what we should expect from Imperial technology. It should just be not quite the same thing. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, we use the same legs for this. What? They work. Sue me.
Well, I look forward to either using Terminator chain fists to tear it open in 28 millimeter, since I assume that's going to happen at some point, or just stomping on them with tiny little Titan feet.
You got to think, and I hope so much, because like it makes good sense. They've obviously done this in their little CAD machines or however that works, so presumably not that hard to just make a 28 version when you make the little one.
Make it bigger.
But I will say, Epic has occasionally been known to throw things out that don't actually get models for 20 years.
It would feel kind of weird if they didn't, though, because if I remember the roadmap, they were talking sometime mid fall, some new army updates that they didn't quite say what. We'll see.
And I would guess Solar Oxys, because now we know, just like this big boy here, we know they've got other ones.
Yeah, it's kind of
We
fun
know
how
they have
set.
Solar Auxilia CAD files sitting around there somewhere. Like, do it now.
Yeah.
And I felt like Solar Auxilia was kind of the leading contender for that even before we had this information.
Yeah, it was going to be that or demons in my mind.
Yeah. I mean, we already got plastic
yeah.
demons, though.
That's true, but we don't have any rules for them apart from the brutes, which are fine, but not.
There's
army.
that, I guess.
And I gotta
it's
admit,
gonna be
it
good.
would be real cool if GW did like a multi-part generic demon.
Kind of like the old Demon Prince in a way.
Yeah, but for like lesser demons.
Lesser demons, but like 2023 style.
Yeah, that
There'd be a lot of bits left over, though, I'm afraid. I don't know.
So,
That'd be really
I mean, the
cool.
War Games Atlantic
Can't see
stuff
it
I
happening.
got ships with like, hey, you bought this box of 24 infantry. Here's 100 heads and 60 arms, and figure it out. So
I mean,
GW
they'd
did
have the
something
box
similar.
of skulls, so...
yeah.
I do love a good box of skulls.
Yeah, it's cool to see a plastic Solar Ox, even though it's a little smaller than anticipated at first. Did not
Don't
see
forget those
Epic
plastic
coming.
assault marines.
Yeah. Did not see that. Did not see that coming beforehand.
Look, I've seen the writing on the wall since there was literally writing on the wall. Remember, like 2 or 3 years
yeah.
ago, when they were
Yeah.
like make Marines small again, and I was like,
pretty
"That's
sure-
it, they're doing it."
Austin, I'm pretty sure that was like 3 or 4 years ago at this point.
Oh, I remember that video.
Nevertheless,
that was a
let the
good
record
video.
show 3 to 4 years ago is probably when they actually had the idea to do it.
Yeah.
You know, like given lead times for stuff, like either that or I forget who it was. Giving that, like, whose desk that was, who was talking.
Yeah.
They could have just been fucking with me.
It's been a while. I do remember the drop pod rules that they were testing out. Just slam it on the table.
Stand on a ladder and yeet.
Yeah. All right. Moving on. So we also, this Heresy Thursday, they had revealed the 28mm Champion model in Mark 6 armor.
Real pretty.
I like it.
Super pretty.
I like it, but it's for the most part pure kit bashing fodder for me.
So here's what I really like about these generic Centurions they've been doing. It's that they have a lot of character on their own. And you can just build them as is, and you have a cool little Centurion. But also, they are great for kit bashing with.
They've done a really good job.
And you have something that's just dripping with Legion flavor.
Yep.
And
Yep.
it's perfect, and I think it's very well done.
I think lately they've been doing a good job of keeping in mind of the like the arms and the shoulder pads and keeping it separate enough to where you can really do your own thing with it. I am looking forward to putting a Dark Angel's helmet on that guy.
Oh yeah.
I think he's going to look so darn good.
Yeah, it doesn't need much for my.
No, I'm not sure about the
the
multi-melta. Like multi-melta is always a great weapon, but I don't know. It's a little pricey, I think.
Seems like it'd be easy to swap the arm off, or even just cut down the multi-melta and put a shield over that arm.
That's going to be great on a veteran, I bet. That multi-melta is going to be good.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I mean,
and then
that's
you have a
the
great
thing,
multi-melta bit.
Yep. And
Multi
am I going
on a
crazy?
character nowadays is always going to be kind of.
Yeah. Yeah. Do champions get the Iron Halo? I cannot remember.
They don't get
not
an iron halo. They do get a refractor field, though, which
Okay.
is what I assumed that was.
I mean, it looked like an Iron Halo to me,
Yeah,
like
that's fair.
old school. I don't think. Yeah, it's sure. I don't think they get those, but
Yeah, I'm
it's going to be
confident
a
they don't.
yeah. But I'm going to look just to make sure.
Yeah.
I'll take a look anyways.
I'm gonna feel real dumb if they do, because I love running champions.
They get a Paragon Blade, but that's it.
Yeah.
So a little, yeah. Iron Halo is going to go on somebody else, I think. I don't know. I understand the purpose of a refractor field. It's effectively, an Iron Halo, just not as powerful. But to me, that screams Iron Halo. So I'm going to have to use that. I'm going to put that on a Praetor or something.
Fair enough.
Save the backpack for somebody else.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a cool backpack.
I mean, the whole model is just real good.
Yeah.
Yeah. It really evokes that Primaris champion that they put out, especially with the front armor and stuff.
It does, and at the risk of being crucified by the internet,
Yeah.
I'm gonna put it out there. I like that. I like that it calls back to the Primaris. It's a good link
calls
between the two
forward.
styles.
I mean, it also. I mean, it also calls back to the original champion too in 40K. Mm-hmm. He had a very segmented piece of armor as well. So
Yeah, it's
I
a
think
good
it's
look.
cool.
It's a good look.
Yeah, it's all along the same line. But anyways, that's what I got here for the 30K Heresy.
Although, am I the only one? And again, I like the look of this, but am I the only one that it looks like his belt's a little sagging? Like his belt isn't actually cinched. It's just kind of like, get this thing.
Okay,
It's the
so
style of the time. Going Han Solo over here with his low slung.
okay, I got a weird question for you, Austin. And I don't want to make assumptions, but have you ever worn a sword belt before?
Yes.
Okay, because my experience wearing them is that, yeah, it actually works a little better if it sags a little bit. Stuff sits lower and hangs off the hip a bit more. Stops it from bouncing around as much.
I did not have that luxury, let's say.
Oh,
But I was also using a much lighter sword than that man was carrying, so
Fair.
no doubt that makes a bit of a difference. Obviously, this isn't one of Dorn's favorites, though. Coming out to parade with a uncinched belt.
but he's a champion. He can do what he wants at that point. I think.
Tell it to Sigismund.
Little odds and ends. I'm coming back to this.
Okay.
Little odds and ends I like.
Here's the difference between your average Legion champion and Sigismund. Sigismund is a bitch.
Sigismund has 0 fucks to give.
He does, though. He has so many things he cares about.
Sigismund already has a 30K model, right? Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
He
Yeah,
does. It's pretty good.
Although I feel like you could probably easily kit bash this guy into a Sigismund as well if you like this style more.
I mean, he's barely a paint job away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of this Artificer Mark 6. I want it.
How do you
All right.
guys feel this guy would translate to other legions? Because I know a lot of people who have complained about it just being an Imperial Fists character, which
It's
I
not
personally
an Imperial
don't see,
Fist
but
character.
curious about other opinions.
Look, imagine so the laurels make it a little more Imperial Fist Ultramarine-y, right? Admittedly, but put him in the Mark 6 helmet, and then paint him up in Sons of Horus colors. Oh, look at that. He's exactly like a Son of Horus. That's maybe one of the, like Sons of Cthonia, right? Paint that tabard to look like human skin and give him a Night Lord's paint job. Again, you need the helmet. Like, I think that's what's throwing people off. Like, that face and that, like, the bare head does give you a certain Legion vibe, right? But just, or like, hey, position the helmet so that it's staring pensively off into space and paint him up like a White Scar. Right there you go. There are only a couple I think it wouldn't go well with. Space Wolves being one of them, just because they don't really do tabards well. Like, I think you'd have to green stuff at least some fur onto him to really pull that off.
Sure.
And then he's too calm and collected a pose for me for like a Heresy era World Eater army. Like, if you were doing something when they were still loyal, especially if you were doing a like pre-Angron thing, I think it would work. But then all the legions are a little more generic. But even something like Death Guard, right? You just paint that guy up in Death Guard colors and just dunk him in whatever version of nastiness you want to, weathering powders, oils, washes, whatever. And I think he'd look really good in those colors as well. And then you start getting into, well, you know, if we put a different head on him, then I think pretty much everybody can play ball, except, again, like Space Wolves and World Eaters.
Even then, I think like the pose as is, sure. But I think if you get a different arm that has like a chain axe in it.
Actually, you know what? I take it back. If you got one of the World Eater helmets, I think it would work. Because you paint the sword just like drenched in blood and paint him as if he's just murdered his way through a company of Marines.
Put a body on the floor.
Yeah, I think it would work. So yeah, everybody but Space Wolves at this point.
I really think the helmets make the difference. The Laurel really, like Austin said, evokes Ultramarines or Imperial Fists. I see this guy immediately as a Dark Angel as soon as I put a Mark IV or Mark VI helm on this guy.
Oh yeah,
he's going to look so
100%.
dope.
Yeah. 1,000%.
And even think about the other ones. Like you mentioned, like you said, just put the Mark VI helmet on, or even just like honestly, any helmet of any Legion, and suddenly you got him. I think the Gorget is large enough to hold most helmets of different Legions as well. Looks like you got plenty of headroom there.
Should be. It comes with the Mark VI helmet, so
yeah, it
that's
comes
one
with
of
a
the
standard helmet, and that'll
more
get you
space
90%.
requiring helmets.
Yeah, and that Mark VI helmet also comes with laurels too, so it also kind of evokes that stuff.
Oh, I forgot
as well.
they came with laurels. Yeah,
Yeah, but
again,
yeah,
even
you
just
don't
a
have to worry
basic
about
Mark
that.
VI helmet, and you're there for like 16 of 18 legions.
Pretty much.
And it's also worth noting that this is specifically a loyalist champion.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, it's being marketed as a loyalist. So if it doesn't work with, say, Night Lord so well, that's okay.
And I think like you can etch off that that star or I guess the sun, sigils and stuff, and you can add like Sons of Horus iconography or really
I mean,
most.
once you start chipping off kind of that sort of stuff, yeah, just go nuts.
Yeah. The that circular thing on his belt, I guess it's like a solar system type of iconography.
I think it's the same thing that was on Axe Praetor.
Oh, that's right.
Big
He did
box.
have that.
Yeah, it's just sort of. I forget what it is, but it's not a. I don't think it's a loyalist specific. Like iconography. I could be wrong on that.
I have no idea what it is, but I've been assuming not.
But I think, I
So
think
wait, this is being marketed as a loyalist champion,
Yep.
but the Legion champion swings both ways. So we're going to get a bespoke traitor champion?
That's my assumption.
yeah, probably eventually.
It's similar
Kick
to the
quite a bit of
Librarian
ass.
and Esoterist,
That would kick quite a bit of ass.
right?
Because, yeah. Damn. Because I think a trader version of this is where people like White Scars and Space Wolves would find a better base model.
Yeah, I was just about to say.
Especially if it is like it's trader, but there's no like chaos runes or it's kind of like this. Like, yeah, sure, you're loyalist, but you don't have anything that stops me from painting you like a trader.
Yeah.
If the trader one is just kind of a little more rugged, God, it'd be good.
Great
Very
addition to the range.
Yep. I'm happy with it. I'm looking forward to getting this model. Alrighty. So we're going to take a quick break, and then we are going to be right back and start talking Siege of Cthonia Decurions. We'll be right back after this quick message. Go. GoblinsHut.com is the distributor for the Dirty Down paint line and other hobby products in North America. Dirty Down liquid effects and aging sprays have been used by prop masters in TV and film for over 30 years to create incredible realistic-looking effects in a fast, reliable way. They can be spotted in some of your favorite media such as Star Wars, Game of Thrones, and Alien, just to name a few. That precision has now been brought to the miniature realm and is taking the hobby by storm. In the Dirty Down line, you'll find rust, moss, and verdigris effects unlike anything else on the market. With a vigorous shake and a mix of a bottle, a single wash creates the combined effects of multiple other paints and even provides a subtle texture. Dirty Down's entire line is also water-soluble, so you can achieve a wide variety of effects, entirely reworking, removing, or layering to your heart's content to achieve the perfect weathered look. With this capability, the line is perfect for speed painting while also having the depth for use for competition pieces. If you'd like to buy Dirty Down at a shop near you, ask your friendly local game store to go to goblinshut.com for information on stocking it. You can also purchase it direct as well. Also, all listeners of the Remembrancers Retreat can get a 5% discount on your online order with the promo code RR30K. And patrons of the Remembrancers Retreat get 15% off their orders. Once again, that's goblinshut.com, home of the Dirty Down liquid effects. And we're back. Legioness Decurion. Page 215 of the Siege of Cthonia.
Legiones. Something. Decurions of the Legion.
That's right. So, for those who may not be in the know, effectively, from a top-down standpoint, Decurions are upgrades that you can take with vehicles, specific vehicles, but they kind of like introduce a new precedent of having just basically upgrades that you can add to additional units that already exist, and I think that's kind of cool.
Yep. Just like companies, tanks are people too now.
That's right. For the most part, the Decurions allow specific advanced reactions models can take. And this book comes with 2 that can be used by any Legiones Astartes vehicle. And then they have 2 individual Legion-specific Decurions, one for the Sons of Horus and one for the Imperial Fists.
Well, now, not every vehicle.
Correct, not every vehicle. They do specifically call out what vehicles can be taken or can take this upgrade.
In this case, it's Predators, Sicarans, Sicaran Punishers, and Krytos.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. And
But it makes me excited to see what we'll see in the future.
Absolutely.
Yeah, if we start getting specialists like Speeder Centurions and all sorts of crazy stuff.
Oh, that would be cool.
Mm-hmm.
Plus, also, this finally gives you an opportunity to use that little guy that's in the hatch with your vehicle models and actually use him as a specific upgrade, which I think is kind of cool.
I've got 2 of the Forge World laser destroyers, and one of them's got a little guy sticking his head out the top. Can't use it with these, but someday.
Yeah. But anyways, we're going to go on in. Next slide. There we go. Decurions. They do have some fancy ones for the Sons of Horus and Imperial Fists.
Yeah, that
available at Forge World if you're interested.
That Sons of Horus one makes me sad. Mainly because it is an amazing model, and if the goddamn banner wasn't so Sons of Horus-y.
Yeah.
Already molded in.
Like, I would absolutely love to have him as a Space Wolf. Like, the Imperial Fist, I can shave off that chest piece. That's no big deal. But
I mean, in all due respect, the Imperial Fist one is practically what you get in the plastic models, outside of a few, other than the assault cannon. He's pretty close to the normal guy.
Four times the amount of ammo it normally carries.
Okay, fair enough.
With a reasonable amount of ammunition for something that probably goes through 1,000 rounds a minute.
So much ammunition.
Yeah.
Also, he does have a cool biotic arm going on.
He does.
Mm-hmm. That is true.
Like that arm.
And the Sons of Horus guy. I want to try, because those old little banners you used to get for the back of backpacks from the old Mark VII original classic Space Marines. I'm curious to see what I can do with a banner carrying arm and one of those little backpack banners.
Fuck, I just realized those are going to start becoming hard to come by.
Potentially. Yeah, potentially. Look at that gangster lean, too, that Sons of Horus is on. He's like,
I know that
could
man's
use
just
this gun,
fucking,
but
I'm just going to wave this flag at you. You'll leave. You're not even going
he's
to make
looking
me
down
pull the
this
trigger.
He's looking down this poor bastard who's trying to run back, and that stares like, oh, okay.
Just like some militia private, 15 years old, melt-a-bomb in hand, just stops, slowly places the melt-a-bomb on the floor, and leaves.
All right, let's get into it.
Yeah, I'll kick it off with the Legiones Decurion Defensor. He's 20-point upgrade. As we spoke previously, he goes on a Predator, Sicaran Punisher, or Kratos. Any or all models in the army can have it, so you're not necessarily relegated to just one per squadron if you've got a squadron. But a model with this upgrade must have a pintle-mounted weapon, excluding the Havoc launcher, which I guess isn't fired by a guy standing outside of the hatch for obvious reasons if you've ever seen the Havoc launcher. And then you get the Point Defense Advanced Reaction. It may be made whenever an enemy unit declares a charge or shooting attack. Targeting unit that includes this model with this rule makes a Point Defense Advanced Reaction. The reacting unit may make a shooting attack with any defensive weapons that are not turret mounted and any pintle weapons, targeting the enemy unit that triggered this reaction following all the usual shooting attacks, except that all pintle mounted weapons may make twice the normal number of attacks. And you can't attack indirectly. No barrage, standard stuff. And template weapons must use the Wall of Death rule instead of attacking normally, but are assumed to inflict the maximum possible number of hits instead of rolling to determine the number of hits inflicted. This is goddamn hilarious and absolutely terrifying.
Yeah.
Because any unit, just the reacting unit, so if you're in a tank squadron, all of them, right? All the tanks in the squadron can fire with their pintle weapons twice if you've got this guy in the squadron.
As written, that's what it sounds like.
So the time of the pintle-mounted multi-melta is here.
Oh, Austin, you haven't been part of the pintle-mounted multi-weapon club?
That implies that I bring tanks to games, Jesse.
Oh, that's true. That's
I
true.
walk like Russ intended.
I never leave home without it on my rhinos.
Or have Vindy laser destroyers, which, if you're close enough to use a multi-melta with them, you're in a bit of a hurting spot.
Austin, I was almost with you, and then you talked about walking like some sort of plebe who grandfather doesn't love.
If it makes you feel any better, I got another list with 30 bikes in it.
It doesn't.
It doesn't.
Well,
he just deep strikes his bullshit in.
Just teleport like a real man.
I save my tanks for the militia like a real man. But this
Dear
is
child,
goddamn
you need
hilarious.
this box more than I do.
Exactly.
This is absolutely hilarious. I fully support it, and I cannot wait to see how disrespectful people can be about it. Like, charging me with that dreadnought? You sure about that, boss? You real sure?
I do love vehicles now being able to overwatch. That's a fun feature I never thought I'd ever see.
I was thinking we'd have to wait for like a Battle of Talarn supplement to see some decent vehicle upgrades. Mm-hmm. And I was wrong.
Yeah, right? Like, because I had the same thought that you'd need like a very tank specific event before you started getting cool tank stuff. And I stand corrected. Gloriously corrected.
Now it makes me wonder what they're going to have when Talon does come out eventually.
Yeah.
Better come out eventually.
Unless they only do Talarn for Armies Imperialis.
Yeah.
Militia tank list.
Legions Imperialis.
Yeah, that one.
New Epic.
New Epic. I'll figure that in eventually.
Epic Heresy. Epic
better
Heresy.
Epic, question mark, hopefully. Hard to see how it could be better, but at least be the same.
We'll see.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. But yeah, like pintle-mounted multi-meltas. Granted, it would be a 60, 80-point upgrade by the time you get the Decurion and get 3 of those on your squadron. But 6 strength 8 AP1 armor being twin-linked, 24-inch range. Yeah. Hilarious.
Yeah. The Kratos is a nightmare.
Yeah.
Just a complete Lord of War nightmare.
Yeah, damn near. But even not on one of those, right? If we're not even talking about something just absolutely nasty, take your Predator, right, and just make it an assault, just the most disrespectful Predator on the face of the planet, and just 4 multi-meltas, run it around with one of these guys in the turret.
Yeah. Yeah, and this, from what I can tell, activating the entire unit for 20 points seems like a steal. I wonder if that's going to get changed. I feel like that may not be the intention.
I don't know, because all he does is let you fire the guns twice, the pintle mounts.
That's all he does?
Yeah.
That's all he does.
That's all?
That's all he does.
15 to 20% extra output in your game? I don't know.
But,
I don't know.
Again, if you're
feels cheap, but
it is. It is a deal.
It could be because I do run all my tanks with pencil-mounted multi-meltas, and I feel like this is very dangerous for people.
I mean, yeah, you're a little weird in doing that.
Thank you, Austin.
I don't know. Think of it
honestly,
this way.
I feel like this edition benefits you, generally speaking, to run the smaller stuff, and then your turret weapons are also a low enough strength that there's like a mass of return fire when you Overwatch or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And in that sense, like if you have a heavy flamer on your Predator squadron in the turret, all right, great. You've done 3 free hits with the heavy flamer, but it is still only a heavy flamer.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, Mike, I cut you off.
Yeah. I was thinking, think about it the reverse. If it's a 20-point upgrade to get to fire a multi-melted twice before your tank dies to the las cannon squad, at that point I think it's too expensive. 20 points for one multi-melta shot.
And it's also not firing back at that las cannon squad because it's going to be out of range.
There's that too, but
Yeah. No, I mean that's a fair point though. Like,
yeah,
tanks aren't exactly durable when the big guns start rolling at them.
No, that is true. I still feel like they're missing something in my head, but I could be wrong. I need to play it more, I think. But
yeah. What
I
I'm
still feel
curious about is how it would pair with, say, assault cannons up top for Blood Angels or Imperial Fists.
Disrespectfully.
I'm wondering if it might be enough of a disincentive to get that las cannon squad to maybe think of it as more valuable and less lethal targets it can shoot at.
Yeah, or something running around trying to punch your tanks to death, right? Like that's already a little dicey this edition. What with the strength 8 explosions going on. And then if you also have to weather just shit tons of assault cannon fire or even heavy bolter fire, it's dangerous.
Yeah. All in all, an interesting addition.
Yeah, and I like that there are both people that think, oh, wow, this is real fucking good. This is too good. And people that are like, it might not be that great. Because that probably shows it's a decently balanced thing.
Yeah. I'm also thinking, so like, looking at the options you have available, looking at the Sicaran Omega Squadron. I'm sorry, Punisher Squadron is what we're looking at. Omega does not count.
Yep.
That has a lot more. Okay, there's the pintle mounted stuff.
Yep.
There we go. You can fire your Havoc launcher twice if you wanted to.
I believe it excludes Havoc launchers.
Oh, does it?
Yep. It excludes. Yeah, it does exclude Havoc launchers.
I don't think it does. I think it stops you. You can't put the Decurion in one with the pintle-mounted Havoc launcher, but the actual point defense rule, like you can't fire them indirectly.
You know what? You're right.
Yeah, because a pintle-mounted Havoc launcher should be able to be fired according to point defense.
Right. The Decurion just can't be on the model with
so you could have him with an assault cannon or something, and then the Havoc launchers, which,
Oh, I see. Oh, okay. Now I see what you guys are talking about up near the top.
Yeah.
Where it can be taken, excluding a pintle mounted Havoc launcher. Probably because the Havoc launcher sits on top of the.
For anyone who doesn't have the rulebook in front of you, this is kind of an interesting case because the presentation is very similar to that of the Centurion upgrades. But of course, it's a tank upgrade. So it's just a little different format than we're used to seeing for a non-character unit.
Yeah. It's interesting. I don't think I've ever seen unaligned upgrades before, which is kind of neat.
Yeah,
But it's a little bit different. Takes a little time to get used to.
Yeah, but hopefully, putting so much effort into making this a thing, we haven't seen the last of Decurions.
Or, like you mentioned earlier, like other unaligned upgrades for future units or past units.
Maybe we'll see something similar for ace pilots.
That'd be cool.
Ooh, yeah.
Not as cool as this Decurion Locust, though.
Decurion Locust? You mean there's two of them?
There are.
So we got for 30 points. This upgrade can be purchased for any or all models from the following units in an army: Predators, Sicarans, Sicaran Punishers, and the Kratos. And a model with this upgrade may make the Locust Strike advanced reaction. And plus, you also get an Nuncio Vox. Nuncio Vox on your tank.
Sure.
Yeah. I'm not going to say no to that, I guess.
Yeah.
All right. Advanced reaction, Locust Strike. Let's see. It is advanced reaction. May be made whenever an enemy makes a shooting attack targeting a unit eligible to make this reaction. Once the active player has resolved all to hit rolls, armor penetration rolls, and vulnerable saves, and any damage mitigation rolls are made, but before the effects of any lost hull points or vehicle damage chart rolls as a result of the shooting attacks made by all weapons in the active player's unit that made the shooting attack are applied, the reactive player may make a shooting attack, targeting the unit that triggered this reaction and following all the usual rules for shooting attacks. A model with this vehicle unit type attacking as part of this reaction may attack with all of its defensive weapons and up to one battle weapon. However, if the controlling player chooses to attack with only a single battle weapon and no defensive weapons, then all of that model's attacks as part of this reaction gain a bonus of +1 to all hit rolls. Template weapons may only be used as part of a Locust Strike advanced reaction if the target unit is within 8 inches and must use the Wall of Death rule instead of firing normally. So again, a +1 to hit.
And now you know what the guy sticking his head out of my Vindy laser destroyer is going to be.
Well, you can't take him in a Vindicator laser destroyer.
God damn it, you can't take him in a Vindicator. God damn it.
Not yet, anyways.
He'd be so good in a Vindicator
Oh, I
laser
know,
destroyer.
I know.
Can't.
I know that's why you can't. God damn it.
Well, I think
Also,
all the
it's
different.
not on
We'll
a
edit it
turret.
in post.
Nah, well, no, nope. Overall, I can see it'd be good on Predator. It'd be good on Sicaran. It'd be good on Sicaran Punisher. It's actually pretty good on all these models here.
It's good on anything with a big, nasty main gun.
Which, if your tank doesn't have a big nasty main gun, what are you doing? Running a Land Raider, presumably.
Just fucking up. Land Raiders aren't a tank. It's an APC with delusions of grandeur. Yeah, I said it. I said the quiet part out loud.
Well, you're Land Raider. All right, you can't even take this on Land Raider, so never mind.
Yeah,
It doesn't matter.
can't do it.
You got to remember this. God, I'd be putting Decurions on everything.
I do really like the Locust, though. It fixes that problem where you can't shoot back with the battle weapon.
Yeah.
Just ignore that.
Yep, it's the one thing that everybody wants.
Yep.
And it even makes it useful. Like, even if you only have a one-shot weapon, right? You can say, all right, I'm not going to fire back with my heavy bolters because they're out of range or whatever the hell. Or hell, I'm just bringing a Predator that only has the main gun. Get after it. Well, I guess they all come with heavy bolters stock now, but still.
So here's what I'm thinking. Okay, I've got this Locust that lets me return fire with my battle weapon and all the secondary weapons, but I've got heavy bolters on it, and you're firing at me with another Predator. Like, I could fire those secondary weapons, but they're going to bounce off. Instead, I'll take the +1 to hit and not waste the shots.
And guarantee yourself, quote unquote, the hit back.
Yeah.
And suddenly the other guy's got to worry about that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just not sure what the move is for a Predator with this, though. Like,
I think it pays off in spades if you take like the Magnum Ulta or the Magnum Ulta upgrade.
I can't decide if it would be better to have the Gravis Las Cannon or the Magnum Elta.
I'm going to be honest, I think it's going to be great on any battle weapon. And I think it's pointed such that what you should do is you should buy your tanks and then see how many you can afford.
It's fair.
I'm sorry. The answer is Magnum Elta. Heavy 3. Jesus Christ.
Yeah. It's a 24-inch range, right? Or is it more?
36.
Oh, yeah. Go with the Magnum Elta. You won't go wrong.
Yeah, can't go wrong there.
Of course, you're paying, let's see. You're paying a lot for that.
But it'll actually do something
actually,
now.
it's not
It's
that
50
much.
points for the command tank.
Yeah.
So 170. But it also comes with the Nuncio box, which, why not? But again, and correct me if I'm wrong, it sounds like you take this guy and the whole squadron can do this trick. So if I...
So this one does say, I'm looking for the text.
I
but
know, I
it's
shut
up
my
to
book
one
to-
battle weapon.
per tank?
Full stop.
Yeah, it says a model with a vehicle unit type attacking as part of this reaction may attack with all defensive weapons and up to one battle weapon. However, if the controlling player chooses to attack with only a single battle weapon and no defensive weapons, then all of that model's attacks as part of this reaction gain a bonus of +1 to all hit rolls.
Actually, you know
Attacking
what?
is part of this reaction.
Yeah, I'm flipping on it because it says a model can fire with up to one battle weapon. If your unit just happens to be 6 vehicle models, then it makes sense to me that each vehicle model would be able to fire a battle weapon. Holy shit!
Yeah, right? So you take this guy in your squadron of 3 Magnum Elta, and you go... honestly, actually, I take it back. At this point, the las cannons might be the play. Just to because that 48-inch range is where everybody's going to be able to shoot at it. And if you take that, suddenly you're massively disincentivized for shooting at this squadron at all with other vehicles.
With other vehicles, yeah, I would agree with that.
Like, you'd have to play games with infantry, which I'm sure is part of the calculus, because you could also say, hey, I'm going to have, the macro Saker and have the same sort of math, but against infantry. Just fuck. Do I really want to do that? I don't know.
Yeah, if I'm bringing predators, I'm not bringing macrosakers.
Nobody's bringing a macro saker if you got a predator. That's why.
Put the
God made
macrosaker
them,
on your sabers where they belong.
right? Predators are trying to be big boy tanks. I mean, they're no Lehman Russ, but still, they need a good anti-tank main gun.
As someone who doesn't play tanks, my takeaway from this conversation is that tank players have got a lot of choices to make now, in a good way.
It's true.
Yeah,
It's true.
Yeah,
It seems like there's no bad options, just a matter of what you think is going to be best for you.
Yep. All right, moving on. Let's take a look at these Legion-specific ones. Austin, Michael, I imagine you want to take the Imperial Fist one. So, Austin, if you want to do the Decurion, I don't care. It doesn't matter to me.
Doesn't matter much to me either, to be honest.
Fair. That's right. You don't play tanks. So
Hell no.
all right.
If you can't teleport, are you even really a person?
All right. Well, then take the Lanius, Michael.
Okay. So this is a 40-point upgrade to all the usual suspects. Gains a pintle-mounted Banestrike bolt cannon, which is the heavy bolter version of Banestrike bolter. 24-inch range, strength 6, AP 4, heavy 4, reaching 6 up. And you gain the Decurion Lanius special rule, which is hilarious. In short, Sons of Horus within 12 inches are treated as having a leadership of at least 9 in the shooting phase for the purpose of morale and pinning checks. If a unit still fails this check and is within line of sight of this model, they suffer 1d3 wounds against which no saves may be made, and they pass the check.
Within
no
12 inches
saves
in
of
line
any
of sight.
kind.
Yeah, correct.
Yep. That is hilarious. I love this.
It's a commissar for Sons of Horus.
In a tank.
He's on a tank with a
Drive me
fucking
closer.
Banestrike
I want to
heavy
shoot
bolter
you with my
because
bolter.
Fuck you.
Also, don't tell the salty players how much that Banestrike heavy bolter looks like a bolt rifle for Primaris. Don't
You
tell them
shut your whore mouth looking at the drum mag on it.
that extended case. I don't know my guns.
Does look like a cool gun. I'm a little sad
now
it's
I wanna
stuck to a tank.
Now I want to put some Primaris guns up against it. What are you doing? God damn it, Call.
You're welcome.
Yeah, this guy is super funny. And like my initial reaction was, oh, that's kind of fucking worthless. But that's just because I'm still thinking every other edition of 30K and 40K overplayed, where Leadership 9 is just not that big a deal for Space Marines.
Right.
But when all your shitty boys are Leadership 7, and Leadership can be a massive pain in the ass, suddenly that's looking like a good deal.
Now they're 9 and not going to run.
More importantly, not going to be pinned.
Right?
Yeah, you put this on a Kratos and just live the dream.
Oh, that would be so cool.
Right, because I mean, that's
Gosh.
the biggest
seeing this-
platform, so that's the most desirable tank to have it on.
Yeah. Seeing that guy on top of a Kratos is actually pretty badass now I think about it.
The only downside I can think of is if you take them, then you can't take one of the other Decurions.
Well, funnily enough, that's where you're wrong, kiddo. They may be purchased for specific models, and the Defensor. So for the Decurion Lanius, be purchased for any one model, not upgraded with the Penta weapon, right? So you take him in your squadron of 3 Kratos or 3 Predators, right?
Oh, I see what you're getting at.
Then you take the Decurion Defensor in another tank in the squadron.
Right.
And
So
suddenly you can point defense with the Banestrike bolt cannon. Because fuck you, that's why.
just bring a squadron of 3 Kratoses, each one with a different Decurion.
A Decurion for every season. And a season for every Decurion.
They thought the Kratos can only go to a squadron of 2. So
With predators, then predators.
Predators.
We'll keep it classic. Just 3 Rogue Trader era predators. That guy in the hatch, a Rogue Trader Mark 6 Beaky for the Defensor, and just
Flight of the
maximum
Valkyries playing in the
disrespect
background.
minimum size
yeah.
chassis.
Riding out in maximum style.
Yep. Just a Panzer Battalion by Sabaton cranked at maximum volume. It's a good day. It's a good day.
And the Bane Strike Bolt Cannon's not a bad point defense weapon either.
Nope, it still counts as point. I mean, it's a Pinto weapon, so it gets that done. Strength 6, heavy 4,
Breaching 6 up.
reaching 6 up. Not to be sneezed at,
I take it over a
'cause that's-
standard heavy bolter.
because that's
And
probably what, a 15-point upgrade if you were just sticking the gun on him.
That sounds about right. Maybe
Yeah.
10 to 15 points, plus whatever other weapons you have on the thing anyway, too. So
Well, I just mean like as a discount for the Lanius, right?
Yeah.
gotcha.
I think you're right.
You're getting him for like 25-ish points, and then the Bane Strike Bolt Cannon that his buddy, the Decurion Defensor, can fire twice.
Yeah. Oh, man.
It's amazing how much we're a narrative podcast. I swear to God,
We're just digging through the rules this time around, though.
we've all played this game long enough though that even though we bring fluffy lists, it's not because we have to. Because
My narrative
we
is
choose
kicking
to.
ass.
My narrative is kicking ass. It's fine for Weimark. He doesn't have a tank.
It's true. I just teleport in and get shot to death by Oswec
Jesse,
scanners.
with all of his goddamn multi-melta pintles, has to
Yes.
is in temptation right now.
One of these days, I can put Decurions and Rhinos, and then you're all fucked.
It's just Whackcaster on your shoulder, saying, "Do it, do it."
No, don't worry. I'm saving all my whack for Titanicus at the moment.
Solid. I'll remember that come Nova.
I want some wins, damn it.
If only you could find any.
Fucking right.
For those of you that aren't in our
Jesus
group chat,
Christ.
Mike had a super bad fucking time last game of Titanicus.
I think Jared killed something like 2,600 points of my 3,000 point list. I might have killed 400 points. Maybe.
A as tricked out as possible Warhound is about 220 points.
Yeah.
By that
so,
I mean like multiple corruptions and all sorts of things. Yeah.
so I killed like 300 points.
It is damn near 10-1 in his favor.
Oh, boy.
Yeah. It
just-
was bad.
The disrespect. But moving on. Moving on.
Yeah.
The Imperial Fists have a fun boy. The Decurion Sagittar for 40 points. Goes into all the standard suspects. And then, when a mono with this special rule makes a shooting attack, one defensive weapon or pintle-mounted weapon may make attacks targeting a different target to any other weapon the model attacks with. This should be resolved as a separate shooting attack before or after all other weapons. Can't be used to target a unit forced to disembark due to attacks made by the model's other weapons. Attacks made by the single weapon chosen to attack a different target may be given the Skyfire or Precision Shot 5-up special rule at the controlling player's choice. And a mono with this upgrade gains a pintle-mounted Elastis assault cannon and an augury scanner. Because goddamn.
What are you thinking?
I'm thinking that doesn't sound very good.
Thinking a pencil-mounted melt-a-gun with precision shot 5-up might sound good.
Yes, it's a shame you can't do that. I'm
That's-
also thinking
he's-
Skyfire is
yeah.
wasted on an Elacidus.
Oh, that's true. I guess, yeah.
Because
you
it's not going to be able to get the pens you're looking for. You're
Right.
still better off taking a Daredeo with las cannons.
yeah, because you're locked into the Elastis assault cannon with this guy. I see now. I see.
Hold on. So the Elastis assault cannon, for those of you wondering, 24-inch range, strength 6, AP 4, assault 4, rending 6 up, and can get hot as part of a reaction.
And when does it get hot now these days? I forget.
It just
Or it just gets hot. It doesn't have the special rule anymore.
It gets hot special rule. No 3-1s jam the weapon the rest of the game.
It's
Still a great
ones.
change.
Yeah. Ooh, I don't know how. On a reaction, it's what you take a wound. If you fire it while taking the reaction,
I believe it's you take a wound. I'll be
Yeah.
honest, it's never happened to me, but yeah.
You'll
That's
take a
what
whole
I'll run it
point.
on.
It'll be a bad time.
yeah. Well, if I recall right, for Gets Hot, a vehicle has a 4-up save against Gets Hot
Oh, all right.
rolls. Unless they changed it. To be fair, because I haven't fired any weapon with a Gets Hot on a vehicle in this edition yet.
Yeah, I don't
gonna
think
take a
I've
look
read
at
the
that
vehicle
real quick.
rules, to be honest.
So you can swap it out. So it's essentially saying this is about a 25 point upgrade. Because you can swap out a heavy flamer for one of these for 20 points.
Can you?
Yes. Just the Elastis assault cannon rule.
Oh, yeah. You can swap an Elastis for a heavy flamer. I don't think you can go the other way.
So you're saying that to get Precision Shot 5 up and Skyfire is 20 points. And you're right, Skyfire. I mean, unless you're hunting my poor bastard Arvis out of the sky, which this will do that very, very easily. It's not doing a whole hell of a lot else, I don't think.
Maybe demons when they come out?
Yeah, like
Maybe.
demons.
But even then,
and-
I'm doubtful.
Well, some of those demons fly. Like when you're talking about a toughness value to flying things, suddenly Strength 6 is much more interesting.
And also, the rending. This is a little bit better than the Bane Strike bolt cannon. Bane Strike's breaching,
Sure.
but you got the rending.
On a 6
How many shots? 4 shots, you said?
4 shots. So statistically, you're not getting a single rending on a single volley.
Fair.
Yeah. Now, if you stick
that
this with the guy that lets you
was
double
gonna say,
tap,
put the
top button,
defensor.
top weapons, then statistically you're getting 1 rending. Which
Well, the problem is
still
you're
don't
fishing.
think it's
You're
too
fishing for pens at that point. Like you'll need 6s to wound most or to glance most vehicles,
yeah,
and then you'll rend. So you're just auto penning them, which isn't the end of the world, except you're going to do that once,
yeah,
and you're not going to. You can't explode it. So I think the move is you're just going for precision shots.
yeah.
Right. But I will say it's not part of a it's not always part of reactions whenever you make a shooting attack, which is the difference between all these other Centurion. Well, the base Centurions anyway, or even this Decurion Lanius. Like you need other units to make him work. This guy, he can just precision shot you with an assault cannon.
Yep.
And he has an augury scanner, which is another like 10 or 15 points. So really this guy is only like a 10-point upgrade,
Yeah.
like at the end of the day. Which makes me feel a little better about him. Because you're right. First glance, it's kind of like, 40 points? Fuck. But then you're like, all right. If you were putting an assault cannon on it anyway, and let's face it, you were an Imperial Fist, you were putting the assault cannon on it. Then you get the augury scanner, which is a nice trick. And after that, it's like, hey, you want to spend 10 points to give your assault cannon the ability to shoot at whatever it wants with precision shot 5 up? Yeah, why not?
Yeah. So coming back with the Gets Hot rule with vehicles.
Only for Overwatch, but yeah.
Yep. Yeah, so if a vehicle shoots a weapon and it gets hot, for each 1 to hit, you roll a d6, and on a 1 or 2, you suffer a glancing hit.
All
So
right,
I think
so
it's
not
a
the
little
end of
bit
the
better
world.
than it used to be back in the day.
Yeah,
Okay.
not the end of the world by any means.
You effectively got a 3-up save against a glancing hit if it gets hot. So, like a standard Marine.
Yeah.
All right.
All
taking-
told, it feels like it's not doing much, but you're right. Given what it comes with, it's also not very expensive. So
Yeah, like it's not doing a lot, but it's 10 points.
yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
So, yeah, that's interesting. I'm really curious to see what I'm assuming all other legions are going to get their own Decurion at some point, maybe. We'll see.
I hope so.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Yeah, it'd be fun.
All right, well, we are going to take another quick break and refresh our drinks, and then we're going to be talking about Infernus Abomination. We'll be right back. All right, and we're back. Austin had to not bail. He had to leave. He had fatherly duties to attend to.
Way more important than this.
Yes, absolutely. All right, but now we are here to talk about the Infernus Abomination, an agent of the cult's Abominatio.
Which we
This feels like some
finally
John
have
Wick
rules
stuff.
for after seeing the model a while ago. And I gotta say, every time I see this model, I like it a little bit more.
Yeah,
Still not a huge fan, but it's got some great details on it.
Yeah, slowly growing on you.
Props to whoever sculpted it, even if it's not my thing.
Yeah, it's definitely a fun sculpt. Definitely blends in the demon and the demons and the assassins. It does a pretty good job.
I'm looking at how the flesh is like over top of the bony structures, and you can like see it through the holes. Very well done.
Yeah, good sculpt, good paint job too, I'd say.
Yeah.
Might be a little bright red for some people, but I think overall it does show the detail that's in it. I think it's a fun model. I don't know if I don't know. Personally, I probably won't get it because I don't generally play traders to begin with, but I can see this as a fun project.
When I play traders, I'm going to want to run actual demons with those points. So
this thing is going to take contrast so well.
There is that too. Yeah.
That's
This would be a great contrast paint job. And I'm excited to see what members of the community can do with it.
Yeah. I think it's going out on pre-order this week.
Oh, is it? Okay.
I think this and the Sons of Horus Decurion, actually.
Okay. Cool. I look forward to seeing that on the Instagram. In the meantime, we're not actually here to talk about the model so much as the rules.
That's right.
So first of all, the cult's Abominado are cult operatives. What does that mean? More or less the same thing as the assassin rule. Though there is an interesting twist. While it's a distrusted ally to whoever it's with, meaning it can't join units, it can members of the cult operatives can explicitly be used with either loyalist or traitor allegiance. Now, this particular guy cannot because he's got the traitor keyword. But going forward, I'm curious what other cult operatives we're going to see.
Yeah. Yeah. And it should be noted that the cult operatives can only be placed in a primary detachment.
Yes.
So you cannot put this in the ally detachment.
In addition, the cult's Abominato gained the advanced reaction Ephemeral Shift, which is very similar to the assassin reaction. It can be used in any phase, and you make a leadership check to move the assassin 12 inches, ignoring terrain. It's basically a teleport. If the triggering action can't be completed, then the unit that triggered the reaction can't select a new target, so they lose that shooting attack or that charge. Unlike the assassin reaction, if this leadership check is failed, then both the triggering and the reacting unit suffer 1d6 wounds that can't be saved or mitigated.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
It's effectively perils of the warp. Except worse.
Yeah. I like how it's against the model and the reacting unit, or the active unit too.
Yeah. This guy's also interesting because this reaction can be used in any phase, whereas the assassin reaction is only usable in the shooting phase. The assassin one is also not 12 inches, but twice initiative, which for the Imperial assassins ends up being 10 to 12 inches,
Okay.
and also goes off without a leadership check. But I think overall they're very comparable.
Yeah, for sure. It's a good reaction. I like it.
Yes. And it's going to help it stay alive, given it can't join a unit.
Yeah. And in addition, this model also has a new unit subtype called the Abomination unit. So there's a few extra changes here. Models with the Abomination subtype, they ignore all movement penalties when moving or charging through terrain of any kind and automatically pass all dangerous terrain checks when they are called upon to make. They may never join or be joined by a unit made up of models with any type. So I guess any models. They may not embark on any model with the transport subtype, and they may never be selected as the Army's warlord.
Those of you paying attention will notice that that's identical to the assassin subtype.
So,
With all of that out of the way, we come to the Infernus Abomination himself.
yep, on page
Which is-
222.
It is a 130 point HQ unit with a movement of 7, weapon skill 5, ballistic skill 4, strength 4, toughness 4, 3 wounds, initiative of 5, 4 attacks, leadership 10, and a 4-up save. Unit type is light, character, and abomination, and infantry, of course.
Yep.
With the special rules: infiltrate, scout, fear 2, adamantium will 3 up, osmotic regeneration, and traitor. And with war gear, transmutative armaments, wraith skin, and the bone shard spitter.
I do find it interesting that even though it has a special rule of traitor, that the previous rule of the Cults of Abominatio at war allows you to use it with either loyalist or traitor allegiance if there's no other model in that army that blocks it. Unless, does it count of itself as well? If the cult operative in the primary attachment does not have a special rule at 4, the cult operative itself. So yeah, he's
Yes.
traitor, he can only be used as traitor. Got it.
But it does mean that future cult operatives might be usable by either side,
Yeah.
which is interesting.
Yep. Which,
I wonder if, they're thinking Keeler might show up and have the cult operative.
that's what I'm thinking, although they kind of call out, well, I guess it is cult operative.
Yeah.
It's just weird that it kind of lumps it in with Cult Abominatio. Well, I guess it doesn't technically. They may just call them cult operatives.
Yeah.
It's weird because they don't really call cult operative out in the unit itself. It's weird.
It feels very intentional, though, so I'm
Yes, it
very
does.
curious to see what's coming.
Yeah. Euphrates Keeler, some,
Maybe Mulhall
Worshippers
fans
of
are
the-
going to get a bone.
yeah, worshippers of the Emperor. The Emperor gets his own little cult army. That'd be kind of cool.
Big Siege of Terror vibes.
Yes, it does. Yes, it does give them off.
All right.
All right,
Anyways,
so
we talked a lot about some special rules and war gear that are unique. So let's quickly go through those. Starting with osmotic regeneration. At the end of the controlling player's turn, if the Infernus Abomination has not been removed as casualty, the controlling player rolls a d6 for every unsaved wound inflicted on an enemy model during that turn. For each result of a 5+, the Infernus Abomination regains a lost wound. Note that wounds regained in this way may not increase the amount of wounds to more than the starting total shown on the unit profile. It's a vampire.
yeah,
It's a vampire. I love it.
it's really cool.
Now we just need them to actually mention vampires in the fluff like they did in Rogue Trader. Bring back vampires, you cowards. Space vampires. Next up, we have the Bone Shard Spitter. which is its ranged weapon. Has a range of 6 inches, strength of 1, and it is assault 2d6 fleshbane. I'm going to be completely honest. I don't know how the math on this works out. I don't know if it's good or bad. I suspect it's neither.
Well, Fleshbane, it's you wound on a 2-up against infantry models.
Is that what that is? I thought it was reroll for some reason.
Nope. If you're probably thinking of some dreadnoughts where you have to reroll against Fleshbane wounds, maybe.
I think you're right. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
The strength one prevents it from outright insta-killing things. I think that might be the intention. They don't want to give it to you too easy, I suppose, for
Also means
vampirism.
it's worthless against anything that isn't infantry.
That's also true, which kind of makes sense.
Sure.
I'm shooting bones at you. I'm only going to hit you, but so hard.
Right.
Although, well, technically not against a dreadnought. If you're, you roll your 2, re-roll your 2. You're doing wounds to the dreadnought.
No, you're right. Yeah. Huh. I've always found how they lay out that kind of weapon that wounds differently just a little awkward.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the dreadnoughts make it a little weird, but
Yeah.
that being said, it's a cooler weapon. Assault 2d6. That could be real nasty, or you try to run into that horde of infantry models and just roll snake eyes.
Okay, if it's assault 2d6 on a good roll, figure you can get 10 attacks.
On a good
against,
roll.
say, a dreadnought.
That's not hateful either. Even
You're wounding on 2s.
Yeah.
You have to re-roll successful ones, but you're still wounding on 2s.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's got potential.
Yeah, but then there's no armor value. There's no AP to it, so they're rolling their 2-ups.
You're right. That's where it's going to fall apart.
Yep. So
All right.
avoid Terminators and Dreadnoughts. Go for the squishy mortals and militia. Oh, this thing will tear up militia so bad.
It'll be bad. I love it.
Yeah, it's a cool weapon. It's different, which I
Yes.
appreciate. I like seeing different stuff.
It's different, and I could see it causing a lot of upsets in matchups that you shouldn't win.
Yeah, but you're within 6 inches
Yeah.
to use it, so you're it's all in on that one.
It's definitely not the primary weapon, though.
No,
Primary
no.
weapon are the transmutive armaments, which is where its arm basically transmutes into whatever it needs at the moment.
Now this is cool. This is really cool.
Yeah. It's got 3 different profiles. Before rolling any hit rolls, in the assault phase, the controlling player has to select which weapon profile to use. First up, you have the Hammer Blade, which is Strength 6, AP 2, Melee, Murder Strike 6 up, Brutal 2, two-handed. Spine Lash, which is Strength 5, AP 4, Melee, Reach 2, Breaching 4 up, two-handed. And the Talon Rakes, which are Strength 4, AP 5, Melee, Shred, Rending 6 up, Rampage 2, Specialist Weapon. So Talon Rakes for the mortals. Spine Lash for something, I'm sure. I guess if you need to hit first. And then the Hammer Blade for when you want to kill stuff.
Yeah, I'm trying to find, because they're both two-handed and you don't really lose out. Like you get the reach, you get a little bit extra initiative, so it brings you up to initiative 7.
Yeah.
But I have a hard time justifying using that over the Hammer Blade.
Because the Hammer Blade does not have unwieldy.
Yeah, it swings at initiative.
And that's initiative 5 for those of you keeping track at home.
And is brutal too.
Uh-huh.
Two-handed, but it does. There's no close combat weapon here, so I can't remember if it's inferred that every model has a close combat weapon or not. But
I don't
regardless,
think so.
But regardless, not sure why it has two-handed, but you have Murderous Strike 6 up, Brutal 2, Gosh, with 4 attacks. Weapon skill 5. This would be scary. You're insta-killing most Space Marines. Shoot.
And the ones you aren't insta-killing, you have Murder Strike.
Yeah. At AP2, you're insta-killing Terminators. You're going to put a hurting on that Dreadnought.
Yes, you are. Hell, 4 attacks, 5 on the charge. You might kill that Dreadnought.
Mm-hmm. Yep, because two-handed doesn't prevent the extra attack on the charge, just extra. I'm curious why they did two-handed on the Hammerblade and Spinelash, unless it's just for fluff reasons, and then specialist weapon on the Talon Rakes.
Honestly, that's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking it's two-handed so that in our heads we picture it mutating into a two-handed weapon, quote-unquote.
Yeah.
Either that or they're going to repeat these profiles on future Abomination assassins.
Yeah. And Rampage. What is Rampage again? When you're outnumbered?
I believe so. I believe it's extra attacks when you're outnumbered.
Okay. So it's not hateful if you're fighting up against, like, mortals.
Yeah.
Or, like, many different types of mechanic. But I'd have a hard time not just relying on the Hammerblade.
If you're not fighting mortals, I think you're swinging the Hammerblade.
Yep. The Spinelash is interesting. I like that Initiative 7. Unless you were like really worried about not being able to swing first. Like unless you're like coming up against like an Emperor's Children or somebody who's got something that's going to gank you real hard.
It feels like the Hammerblade is missing unwieldy, is what it feels like.
Yeah. Yeah, that would probably suddenly turn it into a contender against all 3, I think.
Yeah.
Because right now, Hammerblade's a lot of fun.
Yeah. If it had unwieldy, then you'd have to at least survive combat first. Mm-hmm. Which, speaking of which, its armor is Wraith Skin, which provides a 4-up armor save and a 4-up invulnerable save.
Yep. So similar to the other assassins.
Yep.
I think a fun project would make a cult militia army and have this guy running alongside them.
Yeah.
Just a chaos cult army, and I think that would be pretty cool.
I think that while a lot of trader players I know are mad that Imperials got 6 different assassins and traders only got 1 assassin, at least so far, I do think that the trader players have an assassin that is actually useful and it's actually going to kill things.
Yeah.
Whereas I'm not confident about that with the Imperial side.
No, this thing's a beast.
And a serious contender for that one of those trader HQ slots, I think.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. You mentioned they don't specifically call it a vampire, but looking at the fluff text, it does mention that is unaffected by the physical restraints of reality and seemed to hunt with an extrasensory perception of its prey and surroundings. It would dissolve and reform into the very thing that those it hunted fear most, spawning armaments of nightmarish aspect to tear its victims apart in a tailored agony. Like bats? It could turn into bats.
Okay.
No, this is pretty cool.
I'm gonna get Infernus Abomination model, but it's gonna be a D&D vampire model.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
Problem solved.
Maximum spooky times.
Cool. I think that'll be wrapping up the rules for the day. Here pretty soon. We're almost there at the Inductii. And that should be wrapping up most of our coverage of the Siege of Cthonia.
I think that's wrapping up all of our coverage of it, unless we were going to talk about the actual fluff in it.
We can definitely do that too.
Well, there's that.
Mm-hmm.
If one of our sister casts doesn't want it, I suppose.
Yeah. We can always take it back. All right. Cool. So, with that, I'm going to start wrapping up the episode. Mike, do you got anything in particular you need to plug?
Only that if you're planning on attending Nova Open, you should probably be doing prep for it.
Yeah.
I certainly should be.
It's less than a month and a half away. Good gosh. Mm-hmm. Oh my gosh. Yep. Yeah. For those listening,
So excited.
Yep. Nova Open in Washington, D.C., August 30th through September 3rd of this year. There's still a few tickets left for several events at Nova Heresy. You can go to novaopen.com to get your ticket for the con, and you can get your tickets there as well. And you can check out novaheresy.com, where we have kind of compiled a bunch of different things together, including the primer. You can get links to the tickets there as well if you'd like. And let's see. Also, ahead. There goes my phone. Super professional. There we go. Right in front of me. The Taking of Fearix, the Amber Strand Part 2 in Dallas, Texas, August 11th through 13th at the texasopen.com. Lucas down in Texas touched base with me. He wanted to give a little shout out to that event going on, and he gave me a little rep here. Just want to let you all know about their next event. It is August 11th through 13th in Dallas, Texas. If you guys missed out on the Adepticon experience or are yearning for more, we are running all the same systems we ran there, as well as some new ones. They are working on reworking their points of interest system to tie into the narrative of a bit better, and have replaced unique characters with what's called the Fearix Character Forge, allowing you to tell the story of your Praetor's rise to command. It's a slow growth character-based system. It's really cool. They have a really neat system there. When I went to Adepticon, probably talked a little bit about it, but there'd be points of interest on the map where if you finished your model's movement there, you take it to the front desk and you'd draw from a deck of like different upgrades you could take, and you kept those throughout the weekend. And if your model get killed, they would drop it and others could pick it up, and there'd be bounties abound and stuff. But also looks like they're doing a character update, which will be really cool. So if you're in the area in Dallas around that time, check it out. texasopen.org.
Sounds really cool.
Yeah. And as always, if you enjoyed our was I about to say Pokemon? I don't think so. If you enjoyed our podcast, be sure to check us out on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube at RR30K Podcast. Once again, thanks to goblinshut.com, the North American home of Dirty Down special effects washes and sprays. Patrons receive a 15% discount. And if you'd like to become a patron, go over to patreon.com/RR30K Podcast. If you'd like to join our community on Discord, the link is in the show notes. And you can leave a rating on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen. We'd greatly appreciate it. My name is Jesse. I was here today with Michael.
Hey.
And Austin as well. We'll see you next time. Keep those dice rolling, and bye for now.